Saturday morning, and we're going to make a first and final attempt to explain what it is that we accomplish. Yesterday we spoke of a decision on your part to release yourself from the bondage of your own structured mind. And we are pointing out to you now through my facility the certainty that the structure of yourself as identified as a body was holding you in the bondage of a temporal space-time continuum that is simply not true. Shall I do that again? You out there, you right there, you here. I'm not offering you a solution to the problem of your sickness or your disease, okay, or the defenses that you set up within this little intolerance for reality that prevent you from seeing instantly, all right, that you are whole and perfect and eternal. This is a healing device that I am employing. What am I using to heal? What am I using? Say mind. I'm using my mind to heal. Out there, I am using my mind to heal because reality is mind. You see? The associations of the identity that I have given myself are very simply preventing me from having an experience of my reality and the reality of the love of God. There is a healing procedure going on now, if you will let it. We're going to be all right. The surprising thing is, as you share whatever disruptions appear to be the perceptual mind, your willingness to not defend yourself within your own aggregation of thought is literally what healing is. Who sees that? The lesson 132 says, I released the world from everything that I thought it was. Okay. But when you get to the real healing lessons, which we may get a little bit to today, for those of you who wonder what this is a Course in Miracles procedure that gives you a guarantee that contained within your conceptual ideas about yourself is the entire solution to the problem that you're experiencing, not based on what you think the problem or solution are at all. All right. Now, it's very difficult for me to present that to you without using sentences like Jesus would use. Say, I am not a body.
I am not a body.
Your resistance to the idea that you are not a body is very intense. Why? Say, because I am a body.
Because I am a body.
Well, yeah. Don't tell me I'm not a body. I ought to know who I am. I've got this. I have this. You see that? And I intend to assert within my mind. Obviously, somewhere I know it's an application of my mind, the defense of my apparent spatial reference within space-time. Isn't that what I'm doing?
Yes.
Isn't that what you're doing? All right. Why am I offering myself a solution based on my body identity? Because I believe that I am a body identity.
Yes.
No, I am then at that moment in time trapped in the defense of my self-identity, which is manifesting itself as a body. Am I a body? Yeah, I seem to be a body. I've got nose, I got hair, I got a nose. So everything that I am doing justifies the particle association of my mind and prevents me from seeing that, first of all, the act is being performed by my mind. Do you see that?
Yes.
What? Because the moment that I defended my self-identity, I had to be attacked by something.
Yes.
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 Isn't that so?
Yes.
I had to be attacked by something because I am in a mode of defense.
Yes.
Attack, defend, attack, defend. This becomes the nature of my reality based on the conceptual identity that I've given myself. Is that so? So everyone in all the universe, in all the world, you are individually in your own mind a defense against the truth. Okay? In a particular sense, you are defense against everything because you've enclosed yourself in your own identity and justify the nature of what you think you are. That's sort of our instructions for today, because what I was going to attempt to do in A Course in Miracles was to show you that we are of one mind as a healer. As a healer, I have experienced the wholeness of my association in this aggregation of energy or light that you call space-time. Those of you who haven't yet procured a copy of the Course in Miracles, will you please do so? You'll find one somewhere. If you can't find them in the bookstores, we'll send you one free. We want you to look at the magnitude of what's being offered you individually in your own mind. So we have proceeded to a position in time where many of you are beginning to have the experience of the totality of your relationship with God, with universal mind. Raise your hand if this has happened to you. See? Now, when that begins to go, you begin to extend from yourself, okay, the light of the totality of the power of mind, which heals. Everyone that you meet in an enclosed association of body is in a literal sense protecting his identity body from the healing grace of God that you are offering them. I want to keep this real simple. I know you've already complicated it in your own mind. Yet to do that, you would deny, and I brought the Miracles Healing Handbook. You out there, we've distributed hundreds of thousands, and there's going to be another 10 million going out. We received another directive from the Foundation for Inner Peace, who is the copywriter of the course, that we destroy our Miracles Healing Handbook. We don't intend to. The problem, those of you who don't know the problem, obviously we maintain that Jesus Christ is the author of the course. And there's apparently a difficulty in copywriting it if it's in fact Jesus, although it doesn't concern us at all. All we want to do is give it away.
Right.
They're trying to prevent us from giving out the Miracles Healing Handbook. They have decided that the author of the course is unknown. By that, they hope to protect their copyright. Perhaps they'll succeed, but obviously it's not going to prevent us from associating with the entirety of the certainty that our Savior is here and giving us that freedom. Obviously, the author of the Course is unknown to them because everything is unknown to them. But to protect the unknowing of the author of the Course in order to retain possession of the meaninglessness of their mind, I didn't mean to do that, but I got to laughing about it this morning. Part of their protective devices is simply say the author is unknown. Of course, I am facilitating and using right now. What I am doing is using, say, Christ mind. Let me get a breath there. I was up a little early this morning. How do I look, man? I'm using Christ mind. Can you see that? Why am I using Christ mind? That's all there is. Okay. All Jesus really says in the New Testament, I'm going to stand instead of you for a moment to show you your own reality. When you assume that garb with me of the new factor of eternal relationships with God, you will represent to yourself and the aggregation of your thought forms the entirety of what you are. Is that so? We dared to connect at the beginning of the Miracles Healing Handbook, we actually dared to connect the historic Jesus of the New Testament with A Course in Miracles, because no one, even coming into their right mind, would not see immediately that the teachings of the Course in Miracles are exactly what the teachings of Jesus Christ are in the New Testament. That being said, if you open it, it will say, and I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever thou shalt loose on earth shall be loose in heaven. Any question? I took care of it. That's all I had to tell you that he said. But it would be important that you remember that the teachings of any whole mind, and we'll use Jesus, must be that if there is conflict and doubt, the cause and the conflict and doubt must be in you. We call this Sermon on the Mount, isn't it? So we are somewhere, and we digress just for a moment, because those of you who are listening to this within the confines of your own body prison, which is what you're doing, you believe then that life will be a defense of this association. Is that so?
Yes.
Yeah. What I'm offering you now, and will for perhaps this interlude of time, is an offering of light that will collapse the parameters of your defense of dark form matter. I don't know if I can see if I can teach it this way. When I look at a human association, I'll speak from how I heal. This is how I heal. I see that they are in dark form identity. Well, I'll try that again. They are defining themselves, okay, as sick. Obviously, the sickness pertains to the body association, not to what I know they really are, or to the power I know that they are employing in order to retain the sickness.
Yes.
Can you see that?
Yes.
Generally speaking, and we're at the healing center. We have a lot of healing going on now. And one of our early lessons was that you are in a condition of revenge. You are in a condition of anger against God. Your body function then is to protect itself, okay, through sickness, which is anger taken out on the body.
Yes.
Once more, don't tell me there's a God. I can prove there is not by becoming sick. I will defend myself in my body so that I will be attacked by associations that are contained within my own mind. You want to see how ridiculous this is, you there? And therefore will defend the littleness that I associate in my own mind with what I think I am in this little place. All I've really, you're going to listen to this. Okay, if you begin to have this experience, why don't you take a chance on love? Why don't you begin to simply release the intensity of the defense of yourself within your body form? Will it work? Of course it'll work. Is that a real happening? Huh? Is all power given to your mind? Huh? Is your healing simultaneous with the release of the defense of your own mind?
Yes.
Can you hear that?
Yes.
If I could do these lessons for you, they're fun lessons. 135. Okay, we'll go to 135. If I defend myself, I am attacked. Okay, sickness is a defense against the truth. And when I am healed, I am not healed alone. Since I am the cause of the sickness, once more, since I am the cause of the sickness of you by my body identity, when I am healed, the function of my body association will be to be a light factor of the conversion of the specialization of the cellular relationship of your body form. Oh, poop. We'll cancel this video. We won't send this one out. See, to my mind, this is really all this is going to say is that you're only lasted here for a second anyway. We got that pretty much. Time lasted but a minute in your own mind in that space, and you were gone. Any retention of time will be a determination on your part to justify the body identity and to specialize in separation. Okay? Your individual bodies are specializations in separation. In order to perform it, you divide your body hereditarily into billions of parts that specialize in retaining your aggregate separation. Wow. Can you hear that?
Yes.
Who could hear that?
Yes.
This is in lesson 136. It says that each thought that you have becomes a specialty at associating with other thoughts, okay, in order to justify the continued fragmentation of your body. Who heard it?
Yes.
You're like the jigsaw man.
Yes.
You're put together in millions of pieces. Since you believe, some healers believe that the body is made up of parts of the body. That's silly. That's absolutely nonsense. Now everybody is under the control of the parts of the body. So they proceed to operate on particular elements of the body using their minds, which justify their body association. I don't know if this is that. The more you specialize, finally you end up working on nothing but, say, I'm a proctologist. The guy is an expert. Well, I know, but you smile at that. But obviously, the more knowledge you gain about separation of your mind, the more specialization will be required. Just as you set up these giant computers that contained all sorts of fragmented evidence of thought form contained within the aggregation of separate associations that form clouds of energy that literally prevent you from seeing anything, because they are designed, okay, to justify the separation of your body procedure. Maybe I'll get to read this lesson. This is what lesson 135 in A Course in Miracles and 136 say. It will proceed to say the body will take perfect care of itself because the mind that is what's causing the body to be sick, and you're into all sorts of science of the mind, and I don't want to do that with you today. What I'd like you to see today, if you would with me, first of all, is the temporalness of your body association. That is, you're perfectly well that you currently have cells that are being born, cells are dying, they've been replaced by other cells. They're a justification for the continuation of the separation in your mind. The problem is not that The problem is you identify them thus.
Yes.
And by giving them the attribute or quality of temporal time association, you became a human being.
Yes.
Do you see? A tiger, for example, who has the same principle of tigership as you have as a human, does not set up relationships of his tiger mind with himself in order to repair his tail or his claw. He just doesn't do it. Do you see that? That's the 3% of that you are different genetically in your own association. What I want you to see is with that intercession into the evolutionary process of despecialization, or the combination of the forms from the potential, which is being converted, you are at the human being status. Your mind is split. You have a human identity, okay, that must be somewhere in consort with the identity of universal mind. And that lasted but for a moment. Okay? We seem to have the philosophy, psychology. If I defend myself, I will be attacked by my thought forms. There is no alternative to this. The problem I have is the nature of my existence is a form of defense. All right? Everything that I see, okay, is a habit of defense. Remember, we tried to do this yesterday. So that if I turn and look at you, I see myself as a reflection of the body in which I am maintaining my identity. Could you hear this? Okay. What you have learned to do in the elucidation of the light of your mind is just for a moment, okay, reverse the temporal order of your association with yourself in the universe. So you don't let your reflections justify your body identity and therefore defend yourself from what you have projected out from you as a part of your relationship with cause and effect or with separation. I keep explaining it. And the reason I'm explaining it is because when my mind expresses it, all right, it becomes a factor of reasonableness. To me, healing is very reasonable since sickness is impossible. But if sickness is impossible, it must be based on my certainty that the body is impossible. That is the illusion of the associations of the form that have allowed me to view an apparent particle wave association with the energies of universal mind are not true. I know that doesn't do you any good out there watching this. But what I'm going to try to do now is express to you my own certainty, which is yours. Okay, can you see that? And we'll do it with that little music that you were playing. Okay, in a particular way, I am training you to remember. Okay, in the course, this is called a quick forgetting. I'm not going to do it now, but I may do the lesson. But this is a lesson 135 or 136. You quickly forget what you know totally. You see, it comes to you, you look to justify it, and you forget what you were looking for. Can you see this in there? It actually says in 135, it's a quick forgetting. Okay, say amnesia. Yeah, it would have to be. Each moment you suffer from amnesia, or the entirety of who you are, based on a continuing reflection. You literally forget it. Those of you who have progressed with this will have these illuminant experiences and go, oh my goodness, I can remember everything. Suddenly you're back and you go, no, that's not it. That's what I want you to do. Can you see that? I want you to say to me, no, that's not it. Can you get it? No, I'm not. That's how I heal. I look at you as a body and I say, come on, that's not it. How do you heal? You look at the guy and say, don't be ridiculous. Whatever you think you are is not true. It has nothing to do with your sickness. It has to do with your identity of your own mind, which has been fostered onto your body in order to retain the apparent reality of the body form. If I defend myself, I am attacked. I can never escape that. Never. Because I am a form of defense, right, in my own mind against what must be attacking me. Wow, what an amazing idea. I defend myself from the collapse of universal thought form, which you would call energy, into an association of potential light form, which immediately is returning. And as I return to light, I feel the pressure, of my fleeing, my collapse into time. It's gravity. It's what gravity is. So that there's a levitation procedure possible for me in the release momentarily of that defense. And that really was perfectly involved. You're putting your arms up and blocking the camera. Raise your arm. Go ahead. See what happened? That wasn't a plea to heaven. That was a realization of the insertion of the light of heaven. Now, it may have begun with God help me. But the God help me that responds with the entirety of the light is a request for the totality of help rather than the specificness of what you ask for. Can you see that?
Yes.
Every physician who ever performed an operation says, God help me.
Yes. Yeah.
Everything that you do in the nature of the faith that you place in your fragmented association, you are requesting help. You cannot not be, because you're utilizing the faith or power in the specialization of yourself as a proctologist, for example, to perform a ritual of the removing of the difference in tissue structure that are causing the obstruction to the elimination of the inherent crap of the body identity. One of my best friends is a proctologist. Did everybody understand that? You live by faith. You, as a human, come on, you go to school to learn particular procedures on which you can put your consequential faith in and become a technician, using the power of your own mind based on your old references. The old references are called laws of, remember yesterday? They're called laws of medicine, laws of politics, laws of friendship. All the laws that you do are based on memory aggregations of thought form that you use in a habit structure or an addictive structure is what I call it.
Yes.
You're addicted to that association of the cause and effect and depend on the faith of your mind to remedy what is already sickness in your own mind. Until I can get you to release that defense, there's no hope for you. Obviously, it begins with your other cause of it. If you are indeed the cause of this, the remedy will be very simple. You'll simply make a decision, that this offers you through the admission that your sickness is a decision. It's a defense against who you really are. And if you continue to employ it, you will get the result of your own mind. I will help you if you want me to, since our minds are joined. Say, minds are joined.
Minds are joined.
It's impossible our minds not be joined because there is only one mind. You can protect yourself from, say, greater joining. Of course, in miracles, Jesus calls that a greater joining. You attempt to join with aggregations of your limited association. You're successful in the formulation of what you call idea form that join together in order to receive a thinking consequence of your own mind. Could you see that?
Yes.
All thinking process is a form of mind joining, a bit limited by the separate form association. Do you see that? If you formulate in your own mind the idea of a remedy for sickness, it will address the specific sickness and the specific remedy and will always be concerned with the body. It cannot not be, because any specificness in regard to any association of cause and effect would be what the body is,
Yes.
or an aggregation without causation. Quite literally, not coming from the totality of a creative source, but rather allowing each association to be its own separate creative identity based on the potential that will be used up within the form. Can you hear that?
Yes.
So that the forms of ideas that you have in your mind come together. This is the teaching of the human condition, and result in another idea based on the formulation of that association. What's the problem? Nothing, except it sustains a false identity. Okay, reality or creative mind, the mind of God, does not formulate in separate form. It cannot not do so, because all of it is finally the same substance of life.
Yes.
Somewhere you must believe in the separation, or an idea that there are separate forms of life. That's not true. Life is life, and it is eternal. The collapse of the formulation of the thought forms will heal you instantly, since your sickness is a retention of ideas of cause and effect, or limited healing, okay, or what you call sickness and remedy identity. It would be impossible for you to have an idea of sickness without an idea of remedy. Okay, except death, and that's impossible. I am teaching you that there is no remedy to your sickness, so you will die, because you are actually in a condition of being dead already. You are defending death or separation in your own mind. Is that so?
Yes.
Yeah, you defend that, and you then will be attacked in order to justify the death notation within your own mind. So I'm looking there at you for a minute. Now, I'm expressing to you the need for you to lay the judgment, the barrier of your self-identity down for a moment, in order to what? Say, be healed.
Be healed.
Yeah. Yeah. See, we don't distinguish in the Miracles Healing Center degrees of sickness. When you are sick, you are in that association with your body, and will continue to justify getting old and dying. The relief that I am offering you is the entirety of the discovery of the wellness of love.
Yes.
That is, the nature of the human condition in defense is to obviously rage, isn't it? And to protect itself. This is what you've been doing. And to justify that protection by being attacked in your own mind. I'm doing lesson 135. Maybe I'll try to read it. So now I looked at you there, and just for a moment, perhaps, you let a little light come in, not to the body, but to the mind that has defended itself within its own structure in order to maintain the body and to justify. What happened at that moment is you changed your mind and you were healed. The practice of healing involves the simple admission that that procedure is going on simultaneously in your mind right now. Healers, it's impossible that you're not healing your mind each moment, because you're defining yourself as sick. The problem is that your definition of yourself that retains the separation is healed by a remedy that justifies the continuation of the separation of your mind.
Yes.
I know you know this. So we're going to try that now. Shall we try some healing? All right. Now, it might be, there's an advantage to your idea that this is a procedure that can go on. The reason that that is true is because healing, to be real, must include the reasonableness of the application of my mind in association with yours. Otherwise, it becomes a placebo. Otherwise, it simply becomes something that can't be found in your own mind, which is the protective devices of specialization that say, I don't know how you were healed, but you weren't healed by any medical device. You see, I am not teaching you a perceptual variation or an alternative healing procedure. That's not what I do. I am informing you that the release of that association of your mind will bring you to healing instantly because you are already healed and perfect as God created you. Okay, that is to say, wholeness and wellness and perfection is not an alternative. Okay, the alternatives that you are exercising now are sickness remedy, neither of which have anything to do with what I'm offering you. Because if you protect your sickness by a remedy, you will impose a defense against the simple offering of my mind to you. Have you raised your hand if you heard that?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know if you heard that out there. And please don't tell me that's Mary Baker Eddy. Or someone else. Or this, or I mean, you're going to say, oh, all he's saying is the same as the Zen master said. That is precisely and exactly what Mary Baker Eddy taught. I don't know. I don't care. Go and look it up. It's science of the mind. The mind heals and the body doesn't exist, is what she said.
Yes.
Exactly. What does Jesus say? The mind heals and the body doesn't exist. I prove to you the body doesn't exist, okay, by the resurrection or the conversion of my cellular relationship. 135, the lesson I was going to do, is probably the longest lesson in the Course in Miracles. Say to me, it's the Easter lesson. Yeah, 135 is the Easter lesson. It simply says when Jesus was crucified, he didn't defend himself. He sprang into heaven and you became what you had crucified. Can you hear that? Come on. This is his whole idea. You're being attacked or crucified by everyone that's around you. If you don't defend yourself, you're gone from here. That actually says that in this lesson. It says this is your Easter time. Stop defending yourself in order to feel the grievance of being crucified by your brother and protecting yourself in your own identity. It's just not true. If I defend myself, I am attacked. And sickness is a defense against the truth. And when I am healed, I am not healed alone because I am the cause of the sickness. Generally, at this point, we review the principles of miracles, don't we? Where Jesus said we're going to do just 3 of them to remind you. It's the Miracles Healing Handbook. The very beginning of the text of A Course in Miracles, it sets out the principles of what miracles are. This has been totally rejected by the world. There's no acceptance of the principles of the miracles at all. I don't care. I want you to accept the principles of them. Because when Jesus speaks to you directly in A Course in Miracles, he says this: I inspire all miracles, which are really intercessions. When your mind becomes whole, you will say, I inspire all miracles because I am interceding between your conceptual associations with yourself. Miracles are intercessions between the protective devices of the separation of cause and effect in your own mind. Is this Jesus speaking?
Yes.
Or is this some unknown guy? Foundation? This is some unknown guy after all. Why don't you stand up and say, no, it's me that's a healer. What Jesus wants you to do is stand up. Does he say follow me or not?
Yes.
Doesn't he say, come on and follow me and be a healer? You know, throw your nets down, never mind fishing out of the boats. Let's be fishermen of men. Let's, huh?
Right.
Okay, what's that going to have to be? A spiritual conversion of our minds in the discovery of shared brotherhood. So we used to meet under the sign of the fish, didn't we? One of our most ancient Christian associations. Well, just for a second. They intercede. I am that. They intercede for your holiness and make your perceptions holy. By placing you beyond the physical laws, they raise you into the sphere of celestial order. In this order, you are perfect. Come on. There isn't any question that I'm offering you a reordering of your mind. Okay. How can you keep reordering your mind? By not defending your association of order, it is immediately reordered in the sphere of perfection. Tell me, did you hear that at all?
Yes.
Now, if you attempt to retain the order of your own mind, it will not be in the celestial sphere, but in the thought form sphere of the aggregation of limitation expressed within the form. Could you get that?
Yes.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
That's in this little book. In fact, that's number 1 or one of the first ones. Right? A miracle, a new association of yourself, is a correction introduced into false thinking by me. It acts as a catalyst, breaking up erroneous perception and reorganizing it properly. This places you under the at-one-ment principle where perception is healed. Until this has occurred, knowledge of the divine order is literally impossible. So you out there, whatever you're doing in your organizational procedure is only going to justify this limitation. Let's look for a moment whether it's possible for you to allow a reorganization of your conceptual identity, which is going on all the time anyway. The only problem you have with reorganization is that you have set terms for what you want that reorganization to be. Can you see that?
Yes.
You have set goals within the limited parameter of your own conceptual identity, haven't you? And made plans for the future based on your own order. That's why you die.
Yes. Yes.
Do you see that? Because your order finally simply collapses. You have nothing to draw on coming from the catalyst that I am offering you. Remember yesterday? I tried to show you that a catalyst is a complete bundle of the Christ, isn't it? We used to call it the pearl worth any price that is actually in you. That begins to spread and your mind changes in the bright facilitation of the realization of you. That's true healing. So suddenly you're well and you say, gee, I had cancer and now I'm healed. Okay, was it the cancer that was healed? Don't be crazy. The cancer was your defense against the truth.
Yes.
Just for a moment, you admitted you were wrong about it, and you were immediately healed through the grace of God and the love of that. I've got to get off of the principles. There's 2 more that you need to hear. So what have we discovered? Christ's mind, Jesus' mind, is an immediate intercession, constant intercession between the conflict of the separation of your cause and effect. Where 2 or more are gathered, I am there. I'm acting as an intercession, okay, to eliminate the necessity of the conflict that you're feeling. I'm arbitrating between you without taking sides.
Yes.
Could you hear that?
Yes.
I will heal you by not taking sides concerning your remedy and your disease. Right now, I'm going to heal. I'm not going to take any side. Okay, I'm just going to show you the reality. Okay, remember in the visions of Helen Schuckman, when Jesus tries to get Helen to see what he is going to do, he shows her the book of life in a vision and says, don't look at that side. Don't look at that side. Look here with me.
Yes.
It's she has some lovely visions. I didn't mean to do that, but that's a true thing. That you are healed by the binding of reality that is not associated with either side in the separation. Isn't that a nice thing to know? The book of life. Well, so this is what that intercession would be. Listen to one more. Okay. Miracles honor you because you're lovable. They dispel illusions about yourself and perceive the light in you. They thus atone for your errors by freeing you from your own nightmares, and by releasing your mind from the imprisonment of your illusions, they restore you to sanity. That's lesson 132, isn't it? Okay. That's the lesson we did yesterday. You've been in an illusionary association with yourself and now you're going to be freed by this. Two more that would be very important to you, and we'll be through. Well, first this one, which is lesson 137:6. A miracle is never lost. It may touch many people you have not even met and produced undreamed of changes in situations of which you are not even aware. What does it mean, undreamed of? Your dream has been so limited, you can't see that at the moment of your light, you're healing the whole universe in your association with yourself. They're literally undreamed of. So I'm offering you an alternative, a real dream. And that's one of these lessons will say that. Wow. Wow. The miracle is an expression of an inner awareness of Christ and the acceptance of his at one-ment. Here, the miracle, this is what I'm trying to get you to look at, is the only device at your immediate disposal for controlling time. By releasing it, time changes and you're in that association. Here's the two things that you had to know from me about you in regard to this. Miracles are both beginnings and endings, and so they what? They alter the temporal order. They are always affirmations of rebirth, which seem to go back, but really go forward. They undo the past in the present, and then thus release the future. What this is the entire workbook of A Course in Miracles, isn't it? Let go of your old past and you will be healed. Okay, now the final one that you obviously reject is the one that we're going to base our healing on today. We're going to base our healing, on this miracle principle. You ready? Miracles enable you, the totality of you, to heal the sick and raise the dead because you make sickness and death yourself. Out there? Why do you make such a big deal of it if you're the cause of it? Except that you want to protect your capacity to cause sickness and death. And you're very successful at it. Who's more successful than you are at protecting your apparent identity and justifying the continuation of your reproductive capacity to die? So that they become a genetic or a DNA proof of the limitations of your own mind. My goodness. You are a miracle capable of creating in the likeness of your Creator. Everything else is your own nightmare and does not exist. Only the creations of light are real. You are a miracle capable of creating in the likeness of your Creator, because any perfect likeness would be what you are. Okay?